solid years. As time went on, it seemed I couldn't go through a day without being drunk or being high. It got to the extreme that I brought my children to drug deals with me and even medicated them at night so I could be with my party life. I was a liar, a cheater, a deceiver. When I stole, was in jail. I constantly swore, and everything was all about me. I was such a conceited person. I became very promiscuous in my life, having no shame whatsoever. I didn't treat my body as a temple to the Lord, but behaved like a common prostitute. I never thought, though, that I was doing anything wrong. I had an excuse for all my bad behavior, and I always put the blame everywhere else. Instead of holding myself accountable, I blamed each and every one of my family and my friends. The only time I basically ever reached out for God was when I needed something. I had that prayer, "I'll never do it again, God, if you just get me out of this." Of course, that was an empty promise, and I had no remorse. I felt no need ever to repent. I had no love for the Lord, but only love for myself. I was certainly hellbound, and I knew it. But I thought that if I continued those good deeds and I was a good person, that God would just excuse my bad behavior and say, "Jen, go on, come on up." For all those years, I completely thought that I was suffering and that the world owed me something. But little did I know that there was one who suffered so severely for me that he shed his blood and died for me. Who was I but nothing? And the good news comes. About 5 years ago, I started having this burning desire to read the Bible. Now, I grew up kind of in a Catholic home, I guess. We were brought to church because the parents of my parents said it was a good thing to do. Nothing ever set in. So when I felt a desire to read the Bible, I was a little perplexed because all the words in the book never meant anything. I never understood it. And after reading it and studying it, coming to know, it is truly the greatest love story ever told. The Lord led me to Romans 10:9, which says that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. It was at that very point I started to see the transformation in my life. You know, I used to say there was changes, but it was bigger than changes. It was complete transformation. My old behavior started to disappear, but truly it was only through conviction of the Lord. It had nothing to do with myself. His work on the cross truly spoke to my heart. I started feeling very ashamed of my sinning and felt the overwhelming desire to repent. I truly believe it was at that point that the Lord saved me from the pit of hell. How gracious he is. I started to become a giver and not a taker. I put others before myself and prayed earnestly to the Lord to empty me of all my self-righteousness. At one point, I was so prideful in my life, and it's so shameful to say that I had a bumper sticker on my car that said, "We'll get along fine once you realize that I'm God." But that once prideful person is now humbled by the wonderful Word of God. I really do have peace, joy, and contentment in my life. Not that I don't have any struggles, but truly it's amazing how I find joy in these trials. I really, truly don't have to be defeated by Satan anymore. I have much strength in the Lord and in his might. His strength is the only thing that keeps me firm. I found that it's certainly much easier to resist Satan by submitting to the Lord. His word always weighs upon my heart. The wonderful thing is that it's not only convicting, but it's uplifting. In the past, I was always the center of attention, but now the Lord is the center of my attention. And praise be to God, I am no longer a slave to sin, but a slave to righteousness. Thank you.
Would you like to take the offerings?
Yes. a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Angels are before him, heaven and earth adoring. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Angels are before him, heaven and earth adoring. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Angels are before him, heaven and earth adoring. What a mighty God we serve. Amen.
Invite Brother O'Neill to say the prayer for the office.
Let's pray. Holy Most Merciful Lord Father, thank you for this day that you allowed us to see. Thank you for your many blessings that you have bestowed upon us, O Lord. I thank you for this offering, O Lord, as we bring it before you. We pray that you may bless it, and we don't think it will be used to the words of your kingdom, O Lord. I pray these things in Jesus' name.
Amen.
One of the things that I know I hope to be able to do in coming here, this is the first time I've ever been to Jamaica as well. I wanted to learn some of your songs. Some of your songs are familiar to me, particularly the ones that we came down the hill, the one we sang just now. But the other thing I wanted to do was hopefully teach you a song or two. And that's what we're going to try and do. Joanne, if you'll pass out the little booklets. Is it okay if I move this Bible?
Yes.
Sometimes they're privileged places of honor. But there's a song that Johanna and I are going to do, and it will fit in well with the message today. The songs in the book that you're getting are in alphabetical order. The one that we're going to sing first is almost all the way to the end. It's called, in fact, it may be the last one. It's called "You Are My King, Amazing Love." If you don't know this song, that is okay. You should sing it loudly anyway. If you do know this song, that's okay too. You should sing it loudly. With the fervency as we worship God, we're going to be hopeful that we're in tune.